want to introduce Sterling Magruder. He's the principal of high school, Waco High School, and Keely Jackson Freeman, who's counselor at Waco High School. We've had a conversation before last year, and this is sort of a follow-up. And we've been doing this now this will be our second or third year?
Our second.
Second year, okay. Mm-hmm. And so we want to kind of follow up on how are we doing? What can we be doing better? What's it like? What difference has it made in the school for y'all?
I'll let Ms. Keely start.
Okay. Well, it has made a great difference in our schools because our students, they were in need of food, especially on the weekend. And so we're able to make our own bags now, and we're able to give them that for the weekends, as well as during the school day. If they're hungry or they get to school late, they're able to come by and get a snack or something to help them make it through the day. So it has been great at our campus.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what Ms. Freeman is saying, when you talk about food, you talk about Maslow's hierarchy, food, shelter, one of the first things that a student needs. If they don't have food in their bellies, then they can't be successful there at school. And so we really appreciate Shepherd's Heart with donating the food, the pantry, and then the people here who are able to distribute that out. The partnership is wonderful. You see the kids taking home the food the weekends. You don't see food left on the campus, but you see food being taken home, and kids ask about it, and they're really appreciative of it.
Yes.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned one of the things that we talked about early on is if the children are, and I'm going to say children because they're still children. We got some big kids in that school.
Yes, sir.
But it's a high school, but they're still children, and they have needs, and they're going to see it from a youthful mindset rather than an adult mindset. But you've got kids there that really need food during the day because of whatever circumstances they are living in. And I'm saying it in that way, trying to not be crude, but I know we've got kids that are having a pretty rough life. I know that we've got over 1,100 kids in our schools that are homeless, and particularly in the high school level, that's tough. That's really tough on those kids.
Yes, we do have a high homeless a high homeless number. However, what we do is we make sure that our students are fed. We make sure that they have clothes, food, and we take that worry away from them. We also have a homeless outreach that helps them throughout WISD, and they come in and they provide services for them. We refer them out to different other outreaches within our community. I just feel like that Shepherd's Heart has come in and helped them in so many ways because now they don't have to worry about food. All they have to worry about is being successful at Waco High in their education endeavors. So if you come and you've been out and you've been homeless and you can come in and get you a snack out of the pantry or get some type of food to last you throughout the day, then that's what we're there for. We're worried about them doing good in their education endeavors, but also worried about them being successful for us outside in the community. So we try to provide all those resources for them within Waco High so that they don't have to worry about that. And Shepherd's Heart has filled that gap for us.
I appreciate you saying that. I don't know how big the gap is and how much we're filling it or not filling it, but I'm looking for what is it that we need to do that we're not doing. And so that's part of the questions that I'm asking you. And I don't know all of the needs at the school because every school is just a little bit different. I'm going to hear different things from different schools because they're different, whether it's a middle school or elementary school, things like that. Each one is just a little bit different. Mm-hmm. But I want to make sure that we're able to meet the needs of the kids at the school. Your job as educators is already difficult. Mm-hmm. I know that you've had some challenges in the past year. The construction is one thing, and then I know you've had some school shutdowns because of some of the violence and gangs. It's unfortunate that we even have to deal with that like that at a school or anywhere in our community. But what was it like for you guys last year? This was your first year. Last year was your first year, right?
Yes, sir. So it was a rocky start, but the kids were resilient. The staff is resilient. Of course, in the fall we had a hoax where and that hoax was going across the state of Texas and the nation where they were saying that there was a shooter. Luckily, there was no shooter, but the kids did a wonderful job. The staff, we did our extraction plan to a T, and then we're continuing to work on that and prepare for that, just in case something real ever happens. But school violence is real, and again, we want to take care, as we're taking care of food, we take care of safety. So I think that the district has done a great job of locking the school down during the school day to make sure there's no intruders that can come into our school. So we take that seriously. We make sure our doors are always locked. The teachers make sure that the doors are always locked. And then just just a little bit more safety as you see this going across the nation. But we moved to clear backpacks, a metal detector system where we make sure there's nothing coming into the school so kids can learn and kids can be safe. And that's the job of every adult. And so we have meetings every week where we talk about school safety. We make sure that we have staff in places where kids can be safe and kids can be kids. But not only that, we have restorative programs. We have mental health programs. We have teachers who have been trained to work with students who have had some difficult situations because if I came from a 2-parent household, my parents are married, and all these other things, then it's different for a kid who's experienced homelessness, a kid who maybe not have the best home life. And so we work with all students, and we have the same expectations for all students also. And so it's not like poor little baby or poor little Johnny over here. No, we expect Johnny to do great things because, from coal, diamonds happen. And so we want to make sure that we have those same expectations for every student at our campus. And so we have staff who believe in kids. We have kids who believe in each other. And we're only going to continue to get better.
You mentioned something there that triggered a thought with me about coal and diamonds. It takes a lot of pressure to press that coal down
Yes.
to make diamonds. And what we have to be able to do, and what you have to be able to do, I'm over here just giving you some food, but you've got to be able to take the kids that may not have a whole lot of direction for their life and have the assurance that they can go from here to there. And so life puts a lot of pressure on them. It doesn't always create diamonds. Sometimes it's just coal and it gets burned up real fast. But the point I'm trying to make is you guys are in that place, and I admire what you guys have to put up with because those kids, it's not just about an education, it's about life.
Yes, sir.
Preparing them for life. And what you guys do to prepare those kids is really important because they are the future.
They are.
And what you're doing is creating that for them.
And so, as we look at our students, again, we think about survival, we think about food, and we thank Shepherd Hearts for the food. But as we're talking about kids, we not only prepare them for, life after high school. Most people think it's college. It's not always college. We have a very great career and technical education program at our school because whatever it is, we want civic engaged students who are productive in life. So there's millions of jobs out there that don't necessarily take college, but we want to make sure that every student is ready to go to college if they choose to go to college. But at the same time, we want productive students. We want students feeding into our economy. I want Social Security to be there when I get up there one day. And so, I'm not saying that it's it's a little selfish on my part too, but I want our students to be productive. I want them to have great things in life where they don't, one day that they can be back and giving giving food to others. So it's just a lot that they go through, but I think that the career and technical education programs are so great at our school.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They are.
One of the things that I tell people is that what we do, we're just a hub
Yes,
for
sir.
what people put into us so that we can give it back to the community.
Yes.
And not everybody can be right there on the front line like we are, but by supporting us, they can make this happen. I'm thinking in the same vein as what you guys are doing, that you are also a hub putting into people what the community gives you. Like now where I'm going to go with that is, what are we missing? What do those kids need that we're not providing, whether it's Shepherd's Heart or the community? What do we need to do?
Of course, I feel like it's always good to get the community involved, and have more community involved because there's more individuals that the students are seeing that care. And we want to show them that we care. The good thing about our students that I love to see, no matter what they're going through outside of Waco High, they keep showing up. So that lets us know that they want a future. And so we're here to be able to give them that future. So we're here to be able to provide them a better outlook on a future. And so that's why I feel like more community coming in, more Shepherd's Heart, more people coming in, and we building a village around this student so that they can thrive, because in the long run, they are our future and we want them to thrive. So I feel more community involvement, more people showing up, I think that's what we need here at Waco High School. Just the fact of having someone there so that the students can see they care about us and we're not in this alone.
Yes.
And I totally agree with what Ms. Jackson is saying, Ms. Freeman is saying. I'm going to take it just a little bit different. Just been a lot of research has come out in the past 5 years now. Well, right now, the research is coming out based off the past 5 years when it comes to social media. And so I think what our community needs, and I think a lot of communities need this, I think they need adults, students, and that we have alternatives to social media. And so, instead of kids being on their phones, because everybody has a phone now, kids being on their phone, what are those alternatives? We have meaningful adults, like Keely said in there. We have a discovery process for students, but we know that there's now research out there with TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, all causes depression, causes bullying, causes anger, causes so many different things by being on these social media sites. And so we as adults have to show that there's alternatives. There's rope courses, there's physical activity, there's kinesthetic things. How do we interact with people? It's a sad thing when we see kids sitting across from each other at a table and they're not talking. They're on their phones and just texting and doing things back and forth. How do we interact with each other? And that's going to be our initiative this year. How do we work together as a team? Get them back in sports, get them back in those fine arts, get them back in those career and technological programs, and get away from the social media. So you asked the question, what do we need as a community? I believe that we need adults that are showing them how to engage in discovery process again without the social media.
That's very good, Mr. Magruder. I like that, because I think that I'm going back in my mind now. I went to school; it was another century ago, but
Me too now.
Me too.
The thing of it is that I was thinking about sitting in a class or study hall or something like that. We didn't have the cell phone thing in the social media.
Right.
We didn't have it. But what we did have is, if I had a teacher who was good at extracting from us to get us to talk to one another, then we had group conversation.
Yes.
If the teacher wasn't all that good at it, that was just going to be a quiet time. But if it's a matter of getting adults engaged in what the kids are doing, and we have some people in the community that are trying to do that. Personally, I don't really have the time to do it, but I know that there's a need for that. Yeah. And I'm asking some of these kind of questions because we are so connected to a whole many different services in the community that if I knew you needed that, then I can start keeping my antenna up so that when I come into that situation, I said, wait a minute, we need some of that over at Waco High School. We need some of this over at Waco High School, so that we can bring some of those things together. So I can get on the phone and say, hey, Mr. Magruder or Keely, do we have an opportunity to do this? And we can work through some of these things to make that happen. A lot of people come to us for a lot of things, but some agencies come to us, how can we connect with you and get some synergy going here? And I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking for that. And now that we're in the schools, I want to be able to find ways to make some of those things happen. And so that's important. Getting these kids away from the telephone, just not because it's an enemy, it's become a different kind of culture. Their mind is getting engaged in something that's taking them away from connecting with humans and doing something else.
Yes,
and we need to watch that. I'm concerned about that. Yeah, I try and stay away from the phone as much as I can, but my phone's ringing off the hook all the time. All the time.
And you remember a phone, the main function of a phone when it came out was to have a conversation and connect with somebody. And now that has tremendously changed in the past 10 to 15 to 20 years, where now the phone is used to disconnect from people. So We just have to watch and understand what's going on. Data tells us a lot of different things. And
Right.
so the data is showing us that what is happening when kids have phones, when kids are on social media at an early age, is showing us the anxiety, depression, anger, bulliness. So what do we do? So we need to change that. We don't, it should be more, it should be less.
I'm going to bring it back to food.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that we talk about food, and it's been said that food is our love language. Okay.
Okay.
Definitely mine.
When we have Thanksgiving and holidays or different occasions, food is always there. And that's what brings us together. And it's
Yes.
always a good time. And how can we use that to combat some of this? Is there some strategies that we could employ to do that?
Mhm.
You get kids out there to help with the distributions,
Right.
and they love it.
They love it. Mhm.
I know that some of the schools that we go to, I've heard comments from the teachers and whatever staff that there are some of those kids that really needed to get away from what they were doing, the phone,
Mhm.
and get engaged in something.
Mhm.
And they got engaged in that and found something that was more real than just that phone. It was personal to them. It gave them a sense of value. The phone doesn't give you a sense of value.
That's true.
And you know what I'm saying? There's things like that that maybe we can employ. And I like that you get the students involved with the distributions,
Mhm.
because now we're getting, in some cases, kids that are recipients of that
Yes.
giving back, and they're growing from it. So I'm thinking that, how do we do this? What do we have to do to make these kids grow more? It's not just about the ABCs. It's about growing as a person and growing together in a community.
So all kinds of distribution food programs are wonderful. In fact, that's one of the career and technology pathways that we have is distribution, and it's so important, But food distribution is so important. So I think that that's a great way to get kids involved, understanding where food comes from, understanding what packages and how we deliver food comes from around that. Also, teaching etiquette classes when it comes to food and eating out. Eating out is so important. So you're right. Food is the center of what we do and how we do it, even from growing it. And just thinking about the cost of inflation could help with the math. But food should be the center of a lot of learning because that's what students care about. That's one of our needs. So Shepherd's Heart could help with that part of it, or other organizations like that. The volunteering is one thing, and that's a
Right.
great thing. But
Right.
then also learning, that this is just not a free food is just didn't come free. Somebody had to donate this.
Nothing's
Somebody
free.
nothing's free.
Right.
And so I think that's
Right.
important to understand and understand.
Well, I feel like, and you've noticed with our students that come and do the distribution, they do a wonderful job and they love it. And when they walk away from the distribution, they're like, we're helping somebody, we're helping ourselves. They take items with them home and they love it. And so I feel like it does give them a sense of, look, if I give back, I'm in a better place because I'm volunteering. I'm not on my phone. I'm out in the world helping make it a better place. And I think our students love that. You met our community service class. They come out and they love working with the community. You see, they're all working, trying to put groceries in the back of people's cars. And I feel like that gives them some sense of, yes, I'm in high school, but one day I'll be in the real world. So I'm making a difference now. And I know if I can do it now, then later on I can still continue it. And that's kind of keeps it going, keeps the world going.
Yeah. And the thing that I like about what we do is we create the opportunity for them to give back.
Yes.
And I see how they give back and they enjoy it. They look forward to it each month to do those distributions. And you can see those kids growing. Each distribution, you can see them growing. You can see those kids. They recognize those families in those cars that they have needs, and they're there to help them. And there's times that those are the kids that also need help, but they're in a position now that I feel good because I'm helping you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big thing. That to me is, how do we make that snowball keep rolling and growing? And to me, it's the food is what we do, but how can we apply that to anything and everything? They're kids, and if we've got a constructive way of teaching them something so that they can grow in it. And I can always come back to the food as an example. That's what I'm looking for is what can we do? Because I understand the phone is separating us.
Mm-hmm.
What brings us back together?
It's food.
It's food.
Yes, it does.
I think it's food.
Yeah,
I think it makes a difference. I believe at our mobile pantries, when our parents come through the line, that gives us some outlet to be able to communicate with them. So therefore, that food brings them there so that we're having that communication right there, and I think they love it. They love coming through the line. They love talking to us. I've passed out items there for Waco High, like little passages or little, work that they might need to know or papers.
It's a community event. Like Ms. Kelly is saying, it is. Yeah. It is. It is. It's communities coming together.
And you can see the parents
yes.
appreciating those children that are helping in this process.
I think they appreciate the whole thing. Times are hard, and to have that opportunity to come, and now I'm getting to build a relationship with the school as well. It's just a great outreach.
Well, we're glad to be a part of it. We really are. I mean, I can't tell you that I'm so smart and I thought of this. This was God's idea, and I'm just trying to flesh it out. And I'm just trying to figure out what more can we do with this? What more can we do with this? The kids in this school, we had talked about this a while back, looking at measuring how have we done with that group of kids that we're serving? Has it made a difference in the grades? Metrics is something that we all use. And so I'm looking at what can we do? But we see some of these things, but I'm not sure how to measure that. I like smiles, but how do we measure smiles that we do? Because we create a lot of thank yous and smiles as people are going through these lines, and kids getting involved with this. That's a big deal. Let me just take this in a little bit other direction, okay? With the kids that you've got, are we giving you the right kind of food to give them snack food so that you mentioned some of the kids, they may need something because they got late to school and they didn't get breakfast, but they need something to eat and get them through the morning or until lunchtime or whatever. Are we giving you enough good snacks to give them? Because my attitude, what I asked Keely to do at the beginning is, if they need something between every class, give it to them. Just give it to them. Because if we can keep their attention in the class, maybe we can educate them out of poverty. Maybe we can educate them so that we can connect with them in the classes, gives them an idea that I can do this. And they begin to believe in themselves to do something for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Of course, I feel like we always need more because we always have more kids that are in need. But the cereal, they get the cereal in the morning. They love the cereal. The peanut butter crackers, the chips. I know always chips are not good, but pretzels. Because you always get a variety of healthy items too. And the kids love it. Granola bars, they love all of that. And they come and they search for it. And I kind of even think it might help with them being angry. Because, if they're eating, they're not angry. So they're not walking around trying to start a fight or but if you're eating, you're happy.
Yeah.
And you're willing and ready to learn. So I kind of think the items that you're giving us is great. The kids love in the weekend, the bags, the ramen noodles, they love. Yes. The kids love the ramen noodles. They always ask, do we have ramen noodles? And they love the raviolis. They love all of that. And they plan their meals. Oh, we're going to eat this on Sunday. I've heard one student say that. I'm going to eat this on Sunday. I'm going to eat this Saturday. So those items are being used, and we have a line all the way down the foyer, kids waiting on bags.
And the craisins never make it out of the building. The craisins never make it out of the building. The kids eat that before they ever get to the bus.
Yes. That's true. They love them. So.
That's great. Well, and what do you expect this year that'll be different than last year? Will we have more kids? What do we need to prepare for?
I think we're going to have around 2,100 students this year, so we will have more kids this year. I think now that we've taken care of the safety and security, kids are coming back to Waco, and I think Waco is just a great place to be. I mean, it's the heartland of Texas, right in between Austin and Dallas, and sometimes you stop and get gas and decide to buy a house. So that's what Waco is, I mean, we have everything in Waco that Austin and Dallas may have, except for some of the the crime and some of the other things. So Waco is just a great place to live. So think that the population of Waco is going to go up. So I can see us needing more food.
More
Yes.
food. More
I
food.
just want to be prepared.
Yes,
Yes.
I just
sir.
want to be
I'm pretty sure
prepared.
our numbers are going to go up. You know, every year the students learn from each other. So
Mhm.
students that saw kids getting food this year, they're going to remember that and come, you know, I'm going to come this following year and I'm going to get me a bag, you know.
Mhm.
So I think that food is the most thing that, you know, we'll need, you know, because it just keeps growing. It keeps growing.
Mhm.
And we want to keep making the students happy so that they can do good.
Well, I'm going
Mhm.
to try and do more this year than we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the food that we get, the price on it isn't staying as low as it did. The prices on our food is going up
Mhm.
too.
Oh.
But I'm going to do the best that I can
Mm.
to provide you with adequate supply of food. And plus, the number of schools that we're serving is
Mhm.
increasing.
And I'm going to tell you this. We also have families that have been a part of fires. You know, their
Mhm.
homes have been burned down and they come with their bags and they come from our pantry and they get food because their students go to Waco High. And so I feel like that it does a service to them knowing that, you know, Shepherd's Heart is bringing this food here and I just have to come to my child's school and I can be able to partake in that. I don't have to go to a grocery store and worry about money. I can get it right from the school because we've already had this hard fire on our family. And here I am, I'm coming to the school and I'm able to go through and get what I need. And I find it to be a successful thing for me. And it fills my heart to see that parents can come there. And while they're there, we can talk about their students' grades. We can talk about everything that goes on with their student. But I'm coming to the school to get some of the things that we're lacking.
I like to use those as opportunities to
Mhm.
kind of come together on things and build one another up and
Right.
build them up. You know, we also have our store, Things from the Heart. It's not too far from the school.
Right.
And kids can go over there and get stuff too.
Yes, we've given
Clothing
them
and whatever.
vouchers that you've given us.
Yeah. And we've been able to get baby diapers. And I know that there's a lot of kids that need those
Mhm.
because you've got students that have babies.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of needs that you guys have
Mhm.
that we as a community may not be aware of.
Mhm.
I don't know how many people really know how many children are in this school. And I say children that have children.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't know what that number is, but there's too many.
Mhm.
It's already too many. It's an issue that we have to deal with. The kids that are dealing with that situation, they're not really prepared to deal with that. And they're just trying to survive through it sometimes because they've got a baby that might be sick and they've got to go to class.
Yes.
Mhm.
And they've got a test or something coming up and they got a baby that needs something. But my heart goes out to those kids.
Yes.
Mhm. You know, as a principal, I look at data, and you know what data says is, you know, that it is hard to be a teenage mom, and it's hard to be a teenage father because the mom didn't get there by herself. You know, so we you know the dads need to be educated and making sure that they are being equal partners in raising and taking care of children, but also as a school, you know, in partnership with the parents, you know, we have to do a better job of educating our kids, you know, on teenage pregnancy, STIs, everything. We need to educate our students so they are being able to make responsible choices in life. And that is what it is. It's responsible choices in life. Food, kids, everything all goes together. So you know, we always want to take as a school, we always want to, you know, take you know, the lead of our community and our parents and making sure that they lead, as I should say, these conversations. But at the same time, we want to be those equal partners in helping parents and you know, with their blessings on what we think all think is best for our students. And, you know, like you said, their children.
And I'm glad we're talking about this
Hmm.
because I think it's important that the community begins to see that they're
Hmm.
just not going to school.
Hmm.
No.
There's more going on here than just going to school.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't see anything but they're just going to school. And we need to broaden their horizon in the
Yeah.
community so that as a community we can begin to say, oh, we need to come together on this. We need to do something.
One of the things that I think Waco High School does a great job of, and Waco ISD in general, is social emotional learning. We do
Yes.
realize, you know, with food, there's social issues that are going on, especially post COVID, that are going on and coming back. And how do we address grief? because people have lost people during COVID. People have lost people to hunger. People have lost people to drugs. So how do we deal with that, and how do we address that? And so our social emotional learning that is taught in every classroom is a way that we address that. Restorative practices, how we address that. Mental health professionals. We spend extra money on counselors because that's just so important, that we have guidance counselors who are helping with some of the are given mental health, but not only that, if they're not a licensed mental health professional, then they can help give resources to them. And then not only that, but just the college resources too. So I do believe that is so important.
Now, the college thing is really important because we have a wonderful college here, MCC.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that I know that they're trying to do is get the first generation of their family to go on to college. And they do a lot to try and underwrite those programs for them to get those kids. And that's really important that we can get those kids connected with higher education. Some kids, like you mentioned earlier, Mr. Magruder, they may not be the intellectual type. They're hands-on. TSTC is a wonderful hands-on type of school.
Sir.
Right.
We've got some other schools in the community that, excuse me, make a difference. And we just need to find ways to get all these kids connected to that. And we just need to let the community know that there's opportunity here.
So mentorship is good. I'm sorry, Ms. Frank.
I'm sorry. We have a college readiness program that our students go through. And in fact, we had 2 girls that graduated in December before they even graduate with their high school diploma in May.
Wow.
And then in May, we had maybe a total of another 17 students that graduated with their associate's degree before they even received their high school diploma. So we're out there and we're putting it out there, and we're trying to get the students to latch on to it because this is a free college degree while you're in high school. So, you'll get your associate's degree and be one step up before you even graduate.
That's important. That's awesome.
And we thank MCC and TST for just, partnering with us because we couldn't do this without them, our partners. And we want to get our students college ready. We want them to be ready. And again, like I said, those technical careers, we have automotive at Waco High. We have a business program at Waco High. We have a criminal justice program at Waco High. And we're looking at starting a fire academy at Waco High. First Responders Academy, I should say. So we're in the early stages in planning that, but we want to be responsive to our community and our community needs.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
Well, we started talking
breaking
about
news, I guess.
Well, yes, that's great. And we started talking about food, but all these things are connected. What we're talking about all came out of a conversation about food. And I'm just so glad to have you folks here today. I think this conversation is really going to be of value once the community gets to see it in see this video. And we'll send you a copy of this as well. But I think is there anything else that you think we should cover before we end this conversation this morning?
Well, I for your listeners, donating to Shepherd's Heart and helping out with those programs and just being community oriented and helping and just thanking you for everything that you've done. But just stay in prayer. I think prayer changes things.
It
And
does.
so stay in prayer for our students, our communities, our teachers, and our leaders that are making the right decisions based off student needs.
Thank you very much. I couldn't have said that better myself because I was going to, at the end of this, say that, what we do, I said it earlier, we're the hub. What the community pours into us, we're able to give it back. And because of the way we're organized, we can be strategic in how we do that so that it can make the greatest impact in the community. So we need donors, and we make it easy for them. They can just go to our website, shepherdsheartpantry.org, and donate. And so we need that. So thank you very much. We appreciate you guys this morning.